What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC 316. We have Dvalishvili going against Sean O'Malley 2, and I'm really looking forward to this card. Really looking forward to it from a fan perspective, from a betting perspective, a lot of spots sticking out, and yeah, can't wait to get into it. Before we do so, if you guys could, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. All three of those things go a very long way and are very much appreciated. Helps the algorithm, helps me out. And I am starting to do more short-form content on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, on TikTok as well. So if you guys do not follow me on Instagram or TikTok, please be sure to do so. Going to be doing some new cool things on there. My Instagram is DFS by the Numbers, and my TikTok is DFS_numbers. Check me out over on there. And yeah, if I add any bets, I'll be pinning them down in the comments, or of course they'll be on the website. But I may or may not add like another bet or two. There's a couple spots I'm looking at. But if I add those, I'll let you guys know down in the comment section below. All right, I say we get into it. We're going to start with, and this bout order's a little messed up. They switched the bout order on me like 50 times. So we'll start with Khaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson, and probably a good one to start off with because I don't think I'll be touching this one. So I like violence here, but they're more than all over it. I mean, I was surprised to see the fight doesn't go to decision. It was minus 250. When last week, when Gustafsson was supposed to fight Officer Trevin Giles, the fight doesn't go as like minus 150. So we're having to pay a much worse price for, two very durable guys. I mean, neither guy's ever been knocked out, so I just feel like it'd be irresponsible to lay minus 250 for the fight doesn't go to decision. I was thinking about maybe the fight ends by knockout, but like I said, both guys are extremely tough. I do think this fight finishes, though. I think it's going to be one of the more exciting fights on the card, but in terms of making money on it, not a ton sticking out. I think Khaos Williams by knockout is the most likely scenario here, but it's only plus 120, so it's going to be a pass for me. Going to sit back and enjoy this fight. Next, we got Mederos going against Mark the Shark Choinski, and this is my first bet of the night. I actually bet the plus 3.5 point spread on Mark the Shark Choinski, plus 120 for 1.25 units, and I still like that plus 3.5. I think he can go out there and win at least one round. He's coming in here, looked to be in great shape this morning at the weigh-ins. This is a guy that was supposed to actually fight next week, so he should be coming in here prepared, ready to go, training with some really good guys over at Rufus Sport. So yeah, I think he has what it takes to just need him to win one round. I don't need him to win the fight. I just need him to go out there and win one round via the wrestling. Obviously you favor Mederos in the striking, but Mederos has been to very close fights in both of his UFC fights. Austin Hubbard was a very close fight. You could have arguably given that to Austin Hubbard. And then against Landon Quinones, very close fight. You could have arguably given that to Landon Quinones. And I think it's going to be no different here. I think it's going to be a very close fight. Whether Mederos wins it or loses it, I think it's going to be a close fight. I think all the values on Choinski, and I like that plus 3.5 point spread, and I'm hoping he can win one round on all three judges' scorecards without getting finished. Next, we got Quinlan Salkilld going against Ashmouz. Another pass here. It's a spot where I think it's Salkilld. It's Salkilld by decision, but the decision prop is not enticing enough for me to take it because it could be like a submission maybe. But yeah, Salkilld, I think he gets it done. For those that are doing like the big giant parlays this week, on a card with a bunch of big giant favorites, I think Salkild's a solid favorite to throw in there if you want. But yeah, Salkilld for the win. You just don't really see any opportunity to make money on this one. Next, we got Azamat Murzakanov going against Brenson Ribeiro. I do have a bet here. I have Azamat Murzakanov plus the under 1.5, minus 125 for 1.25 units. Also like the Murzakanov 1-2. I like the Murzakanov KO 1-2, but I'm hoping he can go out there and take care of Ribeiro and do it within the first 7.5 minutes. Murzakanov is a guy that does take his time a little bit. He does have a couple 2 or 3 round knockouts in the UFC, but Ribeiro, I think he's a terrible nail. I think he's very hittable. I think he's very chinny, and I think Murzakanov's going to hit him very, very hard at some point in this fight. So I'm hoping Murzakanov, he gets him out of there. 7.5 minutes to do so. I like the Murzakanov under 1.5 same game parlay, minus 125 for 1.25 units. Next, we got Ju Sung Yu going against Jekka Saragih. And I like violence here. I think the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 250 is a very fair parlay piece. Jekka Saragih is a killer-be-killed fighter. You see it right there. He's been finished in all 4 of his losses, one by knockout, one by submission. I do think Yu by submission is my pick, but that submission prop is just atrocious. I mean, I don't even think Yu has a submission. Maybe he has one submission in his entire career, so they're all over it. They know it's probably going to happen, but I think Yu finishes. I like the fight doesn't go. I played the fight doesn't go for 2 units at minus 200, and I still think it's very playable at minus 240, minus 250. So 2 units on the fight doesn't go to decision. I did that instead of you inside the distance because there really isn't much of a difference, and Saragih's path to victory is probably like a fluke early knockout like he did against Lucas Alexander. So I like fight doesn't go to decision. Great parlay piece and played it straight for 2 units. Next, we got Sergey Spivac going against Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Yeah, I like the under here. I like the fight doesn't go. I was just hoping to get a much better price. I was thinking a lot of people would actually like the over in this one. You know, people like overs and heavyweight fights, and rightfully so. We've seen a ton of heavyweight fights go over and go to decision, but I think it's correct here. I think this fight finishes, whether it's a Spivac submission or ground and pound, or I think Waldo can win this fight by knockout. The funny thing about this fight is this is a fight where we have people on opposite sides and, you know, very confident in opposite sides here. And the reason being is because one of these guys is going to look like a massive favorite. Spivac is going to go out there, and if he wins, he's going to look minus 1,000. He's going to take down Waldo. He's going to make it look like Waldo doesn't even belong. Or Spivac is not going to be able to get the takedowns, not going to be able to hold down Waldo, and he's going to get knocked out. I think those are the 2 most likely outcomes. Spivac dominates and finishes Waldo, or Spivac looks like a bum and gets knocked out. There's no in-between with Spivac. Either he looks really good or he looks really bad. I'm on the Spivac side here. I bet 1.25 units on Spivac to win inside the distance at plus 225. And yeah, I think if he's winning this fight, he's finishing. Waldo, he's been taken down in multiple fights by guys like Marcos Uderi de Lima, guys like Thomas Peterson, guys like Chase Sherman of all people. So I think he absolutely can get taken down. And I don't think de Lima, Peterson especially, and especially Chase Sherman as well, I don't think they have the ground games that Sergey Spivac has. Spivac has a very, very high-level ground game, and I think he's going to test out Waldo's ground game. So I like Spivac inside the distance, but if you like Waldo, I think KO plus 175, that makes sense as well, because he very well could knock out Spivac. We've seen Spivac quit, a couple times in the past. Yeah, Spivac for me, though, 1.25 units inside the distance, plus 225, and I think the fight doesn't go as a solid parlay piece this week. Next, we got Kong Wang going against Ariana De Silva. So interesting stuff at weigh-ins today. We had De Silva miss weight by like 6 pounds, and apparently this fight's going to continue. De Silva forfeited 30% of her purse, and Kong Wang had no problem accepting the fight. And yeah, I like violence here. I like Kong Wang to win by knockout, anywhere from plus 200 to plus 230. I bet the fight ends by knockout, though, 1 unit plus 210, just because there's not much difference between the fight ends by knockout and Kong Wang by knockout. And Ariana De Silva, to her credit, she's going to kind of bite down, and she's going to throw hard with power as well. But yeah, I think Kong Wang by knockout. As I saw a look this week, Ariana De Silva is going to bring a style that I think is going to lead to some violence. Like, she's going to stand there and she's going to swing with Kong Wang. I think a lot of people are very down on Wang after, of course, losing as a massive favorite. And then on top of that, she did not look as dominant as you would think against Bruna Brazil in her last fight. But Bruna Brazil kind of didn't show up that fight. She ran away the entire time. I don't think De Silva's going to do that. So, crap, my neighbor's out. Hopefully he's not looking at me with this wig. He probably thinks I'm a weirdo. How you doing? All right. But yeah, fight ends by knockout, 1 unit, plus 210 for me on the Kong Wang fight. Up next, we have Joshua Van going against Bruno Silva. I like violence here. I'm on the fight doesn't go to decision, 1.25 units at plus 120. That line has moved throughout the week a tad. And yeah, I think Bruno Silva, his path here is going to be landing a big shot against Joshua Van, or potentially taking him down and fighting the sub. We see it right there. Joshua Van's been finished in both of his losses. But I think the more likely scenario is Joshua Van just cooking Bruno Silva here. Joshua Van, really kicking up the volume as the fight goes on and potentially breaking Bruno Silva, who I just don't think is a great nail. I think Van wins this fight. I think he wins it by knockout. I'm on the fight doesn't go decision for 1.25 units at plus 120. And then I'm going to probably bet the Van to win by knockout in rounds 2 or 3 at plus 410. That probably will be added. We'll see. If I do, I'll add it down in the comments and pin it. But yeah, that's kind of a spot that really sticks out. Van 2-3, although it hasn't hit in the last 3 fights, it's been very close in the last 3 fights. And I'm talking very close, like bad beat type close. So if I bet it in those fights and don't bet it here and it hits, I'm going to be pissed off. So I'm probably going to bet Van 2-3. Next, we got Patchy Mix going against Mario Bautista. So, got a lot of CLV this card. The most CLV I got was on this prop. It's Patchy Mix by sub, plus 400 for 0.75 units. And yeah, that prop has been completely smashed throughout the week. A lot of people are on it, which doesn't make me feel great. But I mean, that's his path, right? I mean, if Patchy Mix is winning this fight, it's probably by submission. Mario Bautista has been finished in both of his losses, once by sub, and I just don't think he's fought, a dangerous grappler like Patchy Mix, right? Like, Damon Blackshear is a dangerous grappler, sure, but Damon Blackshear took that fight on like 1 week's notice after fighting the week prior, was completely drained, didn't have much left, later in the fight, and I even thought Bautista potentially lost that fight. So I like Mix here. I know a ton of sharp people on Bautista. Bautista is the sharp play of the week, but I just think if Mix is winning this fight, it's by sub. So I like the sub prop. If you like Bautista by decision, plus 275 is a very solid look, but I'm going the Patchy Mix side. Patchy Mix by sub, 0.75 units, plus 400. Moving on, we got Kevin Holland going against Vicente Luque. I like Holland here. I like him quite a bit. I'm on Holland, 2 units to win inside the distance at minus 105. And yeah, I think he finishes Luque here. I think Luque's taken a ton of damage throughout his career. We saw the Jeff Neal fight. We saw him quit in the Buckley fight. I think Holland's going to hit him. He's going to him very hard here. I think it could be a club and sub. I think it could be a knockout, but I think once he hits Vicente Luque, I think Luque might look for the door. So I like Holland inside the distance, and I think he gets it done. Pyfer Gastelum, not much sticking out here. I think Pyfer can win by any method. The KO prop, 240, submission prop, plus 300. Decisions, plus 145. I think all three of those are on the table. I think Pyfer's a fine parlay piece if you're looking to do parlays this week, but just it's hard for me to decide how Pyfer's going to get it done. I think he gets it done, but how does he get it done? That's kind of what I'm unsure about. So yeah, Pyfer, I think Pyfer wins, but not much sticking out from a betting perspective. Next, we got Kayla Harrison, Juliana Pena. Got the under 3.5 rounds, 2 units at minus 112. I think Harrison rounds 1, 2, or 3 at plus money. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the under 4.5 is a really good parlay piece at minus 200. Yeah, Kayla Harrison, she made weight. Everybody's talking about how bad she looked today. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect? She made the weight. That's all that matters, and I think she goes out there and takes care of Pena, makes it look pretty easy. I think the sub props live. I think Harrison finishes within the first 3 rounds. What I will say, though, if it does get to the 4th or 5th round, it could get very sketchy. If it gets to the 4th or 5th round, then Pena might potentially be live for like a late Homer Simpson type finish, but I think it's Harrison. I think it's Harrison early. Give me the under 3.5 rounds for 2 units at minus 112. And then we got Dvalishvili going against Sean O'Malley. Yeah, I wasn't going to bet on this fight, but there are a couple spots that stick out. A couple narrative-based spots, if you will, and I bet the fight ends by split decision at plus 500 for a half a unit, and I haven't bet a split decision prop in a very long time, but the more I thought about this fight, the more it kind of has split decision written all over it. With the split decision, you kind of just have to have one crooked or corrupt judge mess up over the course of 25 minutes, and I think that's very much in play, and I do think this fight could be competitive. I think you could have like a damage over control type debate here between the judges, and yeah, it wouldn't shock me if Merab won the fight and they even gave it to O'Malley. So I think fight ends by split at plus 500. I think it's an interesting look, and I think Sean O'Malley by split at plus 1600 could be worth a shot, because I kind of think that's how he's winning. A lot of people think he might knock out Merab. That's going to be tough to do. I mean, Merab couldn't even get knocked out by like a frozen lake. So I think O'Malley, if he's winning this fight, it's probably like a crooked, corrupt, bad decision. So yeah, I bet the split decision plus 500 for a half a unit, and then I put a quarter unit sprinkle on Sean O'Malley to win by split decision at plus 1600. All right, quick recap for you guys. I have the Choinski plus 3.5 point spread, 1.25 units plus 120. Nothing in the Williams-Gustafsson fight, nothing in the Salkilld fight. Murzakanov to win and under 1.5 rounds, minus 125, 1.25 units. 2 units on the U. Saragih fight doesn't go to decision, minus 200. I got Spivac to win inside the distance, 1.25 units, plus 225. Kong Wang, Ariana De Silva fight ends by knockout, 1 unit, plus 210. The Van Silva fight doesn't go to decision, 1.25 units, plus 120. And then I'll probably be adding the Van 2-3 props in some sort of fashion. Be on lookout for that. Patchy Mix by sub. Ton of CLV here. Half or 0.75 units at plus 400. Holland inside the distance. 2 units, minus 105. Nothing in the Pyfer fight. Harrison Pena under 3.5 rounds. 2 units, minus 112. And then the split decision. Half a unit, plus 500. Fight ends by split in the main event. And then O'Malley to win by split decision. core unit plus 1600. That's all I got for you guys. Do me a favor, like on your way out, subscribe to the channel on your way out, and I'll be going live Friday night for best bet at 10:30 Eastern time. Be there or be square, and then I'll be going live tomorrow, Saturday, for a last look, kind of talking it up with the chat, seeing what you guys like, and then going through the card one last time, looking at some late live movement, seeing if we can find any last-minute spots sticking out for UFC 316. So be on the lookout for that, and best of luck, guys, for UFC 316. We'll talk to you soon. See you.